Hey, coming at you for the very first time. This is Rage Across the Internet, a Werewolf the Apocalypse podcast. I am your host, Porter, and to my side is producer Joey.
Hey guys, what's up?
You know, in the studio today alongside us is Jessica.
Hi.
And our buddy Daniel Tyson.
Not my name, but hi.
All right, and so this is the very first episode of the podcast here. So what we want to do is the very first introduce ourselves, give you a little bit of exactly who's going to be John Atcher from here on in. So Joey, if you want to get us started.
Okay, so I'm Joey, and I have been playing White Wolf-based games, werewolf, vampire, wraith, all of them, since I was a teenager. Love the White Wolf D10 universe. I love that they're all interconnected. And I am kind of the resident expert on vampire for our little group. Doesn't come up often, but when it does, they need it. So, I love werewolf more than the other game systems, the D&D, the GURPS, whatever. It has a grittiness and a reality that I just connect with. I like the urban decay and the slow descent that we just cannot stop. So, why I started playing, basically I saw one of the books in the hobby store when I was 12 or 13, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know why I needed it, but I told my dad, please, I will never ask for a pony again. Just get me that book. And it was wrapped under the Christmas tree.
And really, he won out because ponies are way more expensive than books.
Well, I mean, it was like $20, and that was a fortune to me at that time.
Yeah.
Like, there was no way I was ever going to be able to have that much money in my life at that point. And
I don't know how much pony you're going to get for $20.
That depends on your meat guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, bring it back.
So
Wrapped under the Christmas tree.
Yeah, and so then,
that.
I brought it into school with me one day. Like, I was reading it cover to cover, and one of my friends saw it and went, wait a minute, you're into that too.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was like, whoa, okay. So we got together, and then I found other people, and pretty soon I was, got my driver's license and could start driving the games. So, that's how that all started.
Yeah, there we go. Daniel Tyson.
Not my name. Hi, but we'll stick with Dan for now. Dan's just fine. I've been playing a few years. I don't have nearly as much to say as Joey does because it's only been a few years. And honestly, I'm still really only on my first character. But I like it that way, so we're going to keep it.
We'll see about that.
As long as I have anything to say. But again, I'm not storyteller. So that changes every game. Honestly, this game is fun. It's kind of a release from reality. I get together with my friends every month or so. We hang out for a bit, and I'm not Dan anymore for that day, or at least that story. I get to do something else and pretend like nothing else matters. All Dan's responsibilities are gone. So it's, besides hanging out with the friends, yeah, it's kind of fun.
Kind of fun?
I see how it is. That's fine.
All right.
You might not want to talk like that with the storyteller in the room.
Yeah,
It's like looking right at you, Chief.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of fun.
That's closer.
Good.
All right. Jessica, you're up.
Okay, my turn. I'm Jessica. I, like Dan, have only been playing for a few years. Dan and I both started at the same time when our friend Porter moved back to the area and was like...
It's me.
Yeah, that's you.
Spoiler.
He started talking about the game, and he was like, I'd really like to get a game going. I used to play in Virginia, where I used to live, and so he started talking about the game, and explaining to us, what exactly we would be doing, and talking about, the whole world, really. And it sounded like something that would be kind of fun to do. So, I would say the reason that I keep playing is very similar to Dan's as well. It's not only do I get to hang out with my friends, and that's scheduling time with friends is kind of an important thing anyway, but I get to be someone else, and it's not necessarily someone that's like me. My character's doing some stuff now that me, Jessica, would not necessarily be comfortable with, but it's a thing that, I've got to learn to deal with, and it's kind of fun to do that, to I guess, push yourself in a different direction, to learn stuff. So, and as a little aside, my boyfriend also plays this game, but not with us, and with a totally different group of people. So that was kind of a fun thing that might come up in later talks.
I imagine it will. It's always cool to know, just independently, there's other groups out there you had no idea.
Right, and it was really strange. It was a thing, kind of like Joey, we met. The first time we met, I mentioned, I was like, so I kind of do this nerd gamey thing, and he was like, oh yeah, what do you play? And I was like, it's called Werewolf, and he immediately pulled out his phone and pulled up his character sheet, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Somebody I don't know plays with people that I don't know in a relatively close area. There are people that play this game that I don't know, and that's kind of cool.
I definitely agree. Now, as for me, I am Porter. I have been playing White Wolf games since the mid-90s. I, started as a teenager, just like Joey. I had a friend, give me a call around Christmas, bragging about this new werewolf game. I'd always been attracted to, werewolves, always werewolves. Vampires and werewolves is my thing.
I'm the same.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, I got this cool werewolf game, and I'm coming over. He's gonna hang out, we're spend the night, whatever. And so I'm excited. I didn't think to ask if he meant on the Genesis or the SNES or whatever, but I figured, if it's the thing I don't have, he'll bring the thing. It's gonna be fine. So I'm just sitting there waiting, and he shows up eventually and puts a book down on my lap.
What is this?
And I made fun of him for a half hour. And I think all you old timers, you already know, the laundry list, you've heard them before. The virginity jokes, the mom's basement jokes. If I had it in my repertoire, I threw it out there. And he took it like a champ, all smug and just kind of looking at me like, you done asshole. And then he had me open the book. And that was the beginning.
That changed your life right there.
It really, really did. I have been a storyteller predominantly ever since. A few gaps in the years here and there. But, I've lived a lot of places. I've started a lot of groups. You look here to Danny and to Jessica. We've got another player, Tom, who you'll hear from eventually, I'm certain, who didn't know what this was. And, I love sharing this game with people. I love it's a game of savage horror. But, it's there in the book. But there's so much more to it than that. There's the wonder of the Umbra and that endless vastness. There's the spirituality. There's the characters. Characters where you think about the Garu Nation. These are people who were drafted into a war, because of how they were born. A war that they know they're going to lose. They're going to train and fight and bleed and suffer. And all of their friends and family are probably going to die and die screaming. And if they're very lucky, they'll be the last to go, and they're doing it to prevent a war that they've already lost, but just to hold the apocalypse back another day, another week. If they die in battle to prevent the apocalypse for a week, then that's a good death. There's hope in that. There's something beautiful in that. I love this game, and
This is the reason you're the goddamn storyteller. I'm over here with fucking goosebumps. What even is this?
That's the thing. I love this game. I want to share that with everybody. With you guys, with this general audience. And while we're on it, we want to hear from you guys too. You know, we have our email, we have our Facebook, our Twitter. You know, we'll give those out at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to hear from you. You know, your experience as werewolf, sure. What you'd like to see from the podcast. I mean, we have plenty of ideas and plenty of show. There's plenty we're going to do. But we want to hear from you. You know, the feedback, the good, the bad, your personal stories. You give it a name. We want to hear about it. You know, we plan on reading some email here and there. I want there to be an interaction between us and you guys. So by all means, please, if you like what you hear, if you don't like what you hear, that's fine too.
Let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah, I'm quite curious of other people's characters. You know, what do you play? Quick 1-2 sentence synopsis of who that character is. I love hearing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, don't make a meal out of it. If it breaks a page, no one's going to read it. I'm just going to be honest. I'm looking around the troop. No one is going to read anything over a page.
But just like a paragraph or something.
Yeah. Something small.
I mean, honestly, I'll read over a page.
You say that now.
Someone's going to send in their entire story.
I think if 5 people send in like 5 pages.
Joey actually probably would read them.
Oh, no. I think after 4, I'm going to get a phone call going, what the fuck did I do? I can't anymore, and you can't make me, and you have to from now on. I see that phone call.
Well, you heard it. She already signed up for it.
Remember, that's 5 pages, kids. That's a minimum. You go nuts. No. Really, there's a lot we hope to accomplish with this podcast.
Yeah, Danny kind of touched on that with he wants to hear about everybody else's characters. And I mean, I do too, but I want to be more of a source of information for people. Because like when Porter was, trying to get us to be interested in at least checking the game out, he didn't want to just hand us all a stack of books and be like, here, read these things. Because what did you do when your friend set a book down in front of you? You laughed at him. What is this? This isn't a game.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was also cold. I mean, you guys hopefully are hooked at this point.
We are.
But,
you don't have anything to worry about there.
But I think the problem is, and I wish this wasn't the case, honestly I do. I wish we didn't have to look for other avenues. But the fact of the matter is we all have our lives, we have our jobs, some of us have our spouses. We have shit to do, and it's not always feasible to sit down with, like Player's Guide 2 or Player's Guide 3 and just read that.
Right.
And now you have that in your brain forever.
Also, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice if you could just read it once and then be able to recall it?
It would be, but then what would we be doing here?
And I know that when I sit down to read, 3 or 4 pages and I'm sleeping. When I stop moving, I'm done.
You make it 3 or 4 pages?
I don't even know how to read. But so that was part of the thing, is we wanted to find alternatives, something you could listen to during the day.
Or like on your drive to or from work.
Exactly that. And, there's some stuff out there. But what was out there it's very back of the cereal box, if you will. Very surface level, as opposed to the stuff that we just want to talk about.
Right.
The idea of, these are the 5 auspices, that's cool. But what does it mean?
And how do we interpret it? How do we take it? Because I have a different take than you have. Jessica has a different take than I have. Right. And we all have different experiences,
Absolutely.
even with just the auspices. And I'm sure our listeners will have different experiences as well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of exactly it. To be able to actually have conversations, and it's something I think that's great about the different levels of experience here around this table. Jessica and Danny, they're still relatively new, and, it's not a dig to say they've got a lot to learn about the game.
No, we totally do.
Still,
every
yeah. Single time.
And at the same time, I'd go so far as to say I've probably forgotten more about the game than they know. Every now and then, someone will bring up something that I completely forgot about. We're human. What can you do?
And you've been playing like 5 times as long as we have.
Exactly.
But it's still neat because you guys get excited about stuff.
Right. So I'm gonna liken this to almost like raising a child. Like you get to see how they react when they learn something new for the first time, and you're like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly. And I like seeing that excitement and that new shiny toy.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It really is. And that's, it's something we want to accomplish here, is that we have the different levels of experience so we can view these different topics through the different lenses.
Mm-hmm.
Because as it's been stated, how I see a thing isn't necessarily how Joey or Danny sees a thing. Let's bring all that together. And in terms for the listeners, now hopefully we have a situation where you can show this to brand new players and they can, learn about the game in a way maybe they wouldn't otherwise. Or, the old hat storytellers who are maybe kind of, we've done it all. Maybe we can excite some people and give them some new story ideas or a new way to look at things.
Exactly what I was thinking is storytellers run out of ideas from time to time, and if hopefully maybe they can get something out of this podcast and it can ignite the spark again.
Right? Maybe you've got a group that, we played werewolf once or twice and it wasn't for us, and maybe you're hearing this now and you want to take a different look, hearing about how we view the game. Maybe you've got someone who's maybe like Jessica was, who's heard a couple things about role-playing and maybe wants to dip a toe, maybe not, and this is the thing that helps you get into it.
Yeah, I did have a friend in a previous job that she was LARPing, and she was like, hey, if it's something that, it sounds like you might enjoy doing, you should totally come out with us one weekend. And I was interested in it, it just never worked out that I could. Like, schedules never really meshed, so.
And, if you'd have done that, maybe you wouldn't be here on the table today, so thank fuck for that.
Or I would have a completely different thought process behind this. Like, it'd be different is the thing.
No, absolutely. Either way.
Mm-hmm.
It's, we're peppered by our experiences. And the fact of the matter is I've heard from people who, one bad werewolf game, one storyteller who maybe didn't quite get the game or just made it splatter. And, these people weren't interested in playing a game just about, we're going to kill the thing and there's blood everywhere and then we're going to go home. Maybe they wanted more.
Right.
And that's what I love about werewolf is it can be splatter, but it doesn't have to be. It can be the sandboxing and the character interactions, and you can have a whole game that you don't roll a single die in.
I've done that.
We have done that, yeah. And honestly, those are probably my favorite games. So that's not to say that I don't like, the fighting. Like, I don't... Sometimes I just like to, move the story forward, though. Like, as opposed to...
Sitting around and watching me throw 30 dice at a table?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the thing. Yes. That's exactly it. Do you need to borrow some dice, Joe?
But, I love that I now have a character that I can show you, how to do awesome combos and awesome moves.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe you guys haven't seen that before.
And we haven't, because Tom and Danny and I all started at the same time.
Yeah.
And the only person that knew how to play prior to that was Porter, and he's the storyteller, so he's playing 15 people, not a member of our pack.
Right,
So-
right. Yeah.
Which I'm sure is difficult in itself, but at the same time, he might be 15 other of the NPCs, but I still have always considered Porter as part of our pack.
Well,
And I don't mean to kiss your ass a little bit, and I'm sorry for
that's what it
saying
sounds
that.
like, though.
But yeah, like I said, these are my closest friends, and we get to do this as friends.
And now we get to hang out with our listeners,
Right?
which I think it's awesome.
I think so too. I'm very glad to have both of you.
Hopefully that number will at least double, maybe triple.
Let's not get crazy.
Got a few weeks for that.
And then, in the coming weeks, we are going to hit all sorts of topics. And like we've mentioned, we want to hit the stuff for the brand new player. We want to hit the stuff for the old vet. No stone's going to be unturned. And you guys are going to be part of that process too, hopefully.
Yeah, if you think we are leaving stones unturned, feel free to comment on something, email us, whatever. Let us know what you want to hear about.
Definitely, because, we're going to cover the auspices, we're going to cover the tribes, we're going to cover storytelling, we're going to cover all of, the must-dos and the gotta-dos and the wanna-dos.
Mm-hmm.
But there probably are stones we're going to leave unturned just because we don't even think about them.
Right.
So that's where the listeners come in and say, hey, what about XYZ?
It's absolutely true. But I think maybe this is a moment to talk about stuff we're not going to do.
Okay.
I have no interest in reviewing books. We're going to talk about the books, obviously, that's going to come up, and our opinions will come through. But I don't want to...
Open the book and read some of it and go, this is dumb,
or this is
isn't
excellent,
helpful, or...
Right. You know, and part of that is, you know, it's not the conversation that I want to have.
And I think if somebody wants to, you know, get a book review, they can get the book and read the book.
And that's actually the worthier part. I was going to bring that up. I mean, look, this is a niche hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there are outlets and retailers out there that need our support. You know, so you maybe go to DriveThruRPG and you spend $5 on a PDF. Look, it's only $5. Skip the Big Mac or something, you know, that day. You know, don't buy the pack of cigarettes or whatever. And get that book and support.
Exactly.
You know, like
show your love.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to use the word advocate because that's ridiculous. But I'm a big proponent for dice. You know, there are dice roller apps and that's all well and good, but go to your local game store and buy some dice, man. That guy needs your business.
Right. Moreover, like, the book isn't the game. The game is the game.
I like that.
Like, you don't want to just read the book and go, oh, well, I should do everything exactly this way, because that's not true either.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I think there is an area for book reviews, but I don't think that's where we want to be.
No. And that's really what it comes down to. Is there's nothing wrong with a book review. It's just, we're not going to do it.
Right. Form your own opinion. Read the book. Like Porter just said, go buy the PDF, read the book, form your own opinion. If you've got something specific from a book that you do want to talk about, cool. We can absolutely do that. But that's not what we're going to focus on.
We're here to have a conversation.
And have fun.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully you guys will have fun too. We're kind of a collection of assholes. You may have figured that out.
Us? No.
Fairly quickly, I'm
We
sure.
kind of embrace that.
Never.
Another thing, though, that we're not going to do, and I'm going to use quotes around that, because I've heard it a few times, is, as of right now, we are not going to be recording our games for people.
Oh, God, no.
I feel like that's the worst decision.
I feel like it is, too. You know, despite being a logistical nightmare, you know, the studio isn't set up for us to be playing a game here also.
No.
No.
You know,
People get bored of our games really quickly.
They
Don't know what's going on.
We go off on tangents, and they're like 8 to 10 hours long, and nobody wants to sit through that but us.
Right. You know, we love it.
But that's us.
Yeah.
Also, we're participating. Like, I couldn't sit back and re-listen to a game
I
that I
would-
participated in even. Like, I have no interest in that.
I'd lose my mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yep.
And I mean, this isn't to say that the people who do record their games and put them out there, I mean, that's them. That's their deal. Like, if you enjoy listening to people's games, go for it.
That might be a great
ball.
resource for you. But
No, absolutely. You know, in fact, I had a Wraith podcast brought to my attention recently that does that, and you know, sets them out in it's smaller chunks to listen to,
Okay.
which, you know, and that's great. It's just not what we're gonna do.
right.
Yeah, because I don't see a world where that's successful for us.
No.
Not for this group. No, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else we're not going to do?
Well, baseball.
Yeah,
That's largely that.
Well, there's not any sports to talk about right now anyway because everything's been canceled.
That's a very good point.
And I mean, honestly, we're not going to be politically correct.
No, probably not.
No. You know.
I don't even know how to do that.
If you're going to get your feelings hurt, maybe this isn't the show for you.
But also, we're not going to get political.
Nope.
Because
No.
we're here to talk about werewolf and have fun. And to springboard on that, this isn't a vampire podcast. It's not about hunter or mage. We're looking through the lens of werewolf because that's the thing we know best.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not always going to be right.
Really, it's the only thing that Danny and I know. Like, we have no experience with anything else.
Yeah, my window's pretty narrow too. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm okay with that because this is.
And I'm not going
Werewolves
to
are
say
fun.
those things aren't going to pop up.
They absolutely will, but if you're looking for the episode on mages,
No.
you should look for the Mage podcast.
No,
I cannot help you.
Mage would pop up in the context of how it relates to werewolf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's through the lens of the Garu Nation, not necessarily the lens of the books themselves.
Right. Right.
You know, so there will be inaccuracies in those books, but it's what do the Garu know?
That's correct. And I think that's a major thing to keep in mind is that we're coming at it from the Garu-centered opinion.
Yep.
Not what's actually true.
Yeah, it's that right there. And that's, those are the things we're not going to do.
Mm-hmm.
What we are going to do is we're going to sit here, we're going to talk about werewolf, we're going to have fun.
Yep.
And we would love for you to continue sticking with us and enjoy the ride.
I'm not sure where we're going to end up. I'm not sure what we're going to see along the way. I mean, we're sitting inside the world's largest ball of yarn right now, so we got plenty of roadside attractions, but
The journey's half the fun.
half the fun. What's the other half?
Well, knowing.
No, I guess half the battle.
So is the battle the other half of the fun?
Well, knowing is half the battle and violence is the other half.
So where does the other half of the journey come in?
That's the fun part.
And this is why we're a collection of assholes.
And I think that's about, that's a great stop for our first episode. It's a little shorter than what we'll normally be doing, but we wanted to take a minute to say hi and tell you what we're about and what we're going to be doing. And again, we really, really hope you stick with us. Now, if you do want to contact us, you can do that there are a few places. You can find us, probably the best way, for me at least, is our email, and that's rageacrosspodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us at Facebook at Rage Across the Internet. And we have our Twitter, which is at Rage Across, correct, Jessica?
That's correct.
All right. Finally, the podcast itself. You can find us, you found us. Congratulations. Do that more.
Yes, keep doing that.
Just what you did the first time, do it again next week. But, if you're telling people, you can find us on iTunes, on Spotify, and Stitcher. And we're going to have an archive on our website, which is rageacrosstheinternet.buzzsprout.com. And that URL will change as we go, but that's what we got for now.
Yep.
We want to thank you for listening, and, please subscribe, rate us, and email us in, contact us. We'll hopefully talk to you soon. On behalf of the cast here at Summer Rain Studios, we want to say thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. Be excellent to each other.
Rage Across the Internet's music is It's Into the Fog by Darren Curtis, shared with a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 unported license. For details, check out the information under the podcast.